What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today we are covering, again with the top 5 series, we're going to be covering the top 5 mutants in the game, in my opinion, and that is a very important thing to bear in mind. I'm going to say in every video, because this is all based on kind of my my experience in the game. So you guys might have a slightly different experience, but yeah, feel free to leave any of your comments and opinions below, but also bear in mind that this video is entirely based on my thoughts and opinions, but also I'm going to be giving a justification and an explanation of why I think certain champions are super great in the game. So, top 5 mutants. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about is I am excluding one character from the rankings, and that is the classic red suit Deadpool. Classic red suit Deadpool is by far the best mutant, but he is like really unachievable to attain. He only, I believe, has come around once in a one-time arena event, and only, you know, the top percentage of players who had time to grind tens of millions of points managed to get him. So he's the top mutant champion, but you know, he's not in the normal crystals, and he isn't really like a common character, so he's not really applicable to a lot of people, and a lot of people that are going to be watching this video wondering who, you know, the top 5 are. Anyway, guys, let's get into the list. At number 5, I have the 90s version of Cyclops, who I believe is significantly better than the classic version of Cyclops. So this champion is absolutely awesome. The main thing that makes this champion so powerful is his level 1. His level 1 is absolutely stacked, also his level 2, but it makes a lot more sense for this character just to spam the level 1, as he gains additional power when he is below at low power levels. So he can just build up to the level 1 really quickly, and when you're firing off the level 1, it just deals so much damage, applies an armor break, which lasts significantly longer, especially when the champion is duped, than the classic Cyclops. So your beams are pretty much, you know, feeding off the damage of the previous beam, and you can pretty much almost guarantee that you're going to have like 2 or 3 stacks of armor break on the opponent when you're using a beam, which is again just multiplying and spiraling that damage. Ridiculous champion, so much fun to play. Also kind of a really good option for Alliance Wall Defense on unblockable level 1 nodes, as his beam has what is it, 3 damage components instead of 1, so anybody that's fighting this champion has to evade exactly the right time to avoid kind of all 3 ticks of the beam, which does take a lot of practice to get down, and I'll probably say about, you know, 80 to 90% of the player base can't do it 100% of the time, which makes him a really solid option for that. So I think 90 Cyclops, absolutely awesome champion, but also the classic Cyclops is pretty good, but in my opinion, nowhere near as good as the 90 Cyclops. So at number 4, we have Nightcrawler, who is kind of a fairly new champion, I guess, to the game. So let's go into the info and talk about what makes this champion so great. So I think the main use for Nightcrawler, as a lot of people have seen, is Alliance Wall Defense. He's just an absolute evade monster. He's crazy good for that. But also, when you're playing this champion offensively, he does deal a fairly decent amount of damage. His evade chance is, I believe, it's a total of 29%. So passively, it's a 14% chance to evade incoming attacks, but against characters that are using physical attacks, which is pretty much the majority of the characters in the game, apart from, what is it, I think it's Doctor Strange, Magneto, and there may be a couple of others that I can't think of off the top of my head. It's an additional 15% chance, so it brings it up to 29%. So yeah, really good, just teleporting away all the time. A really fun character to play as well. Also, when you're playing this champion offensively, has a few cool tips and tricks. So whenever you strike a deep wounds, which is on your critical hits, he gains increased attack, and this stacks up to 3 times. So his damage can get pretty crazy, but generally, this champion's best use, I believe, in the game is for Alliance Wall Defense. Although he's a kind of fun champion to play, so it's definitely worth, you know, picking him up if you get the option. And I believe he's going to be in the arena as a basic champion in a few months' time, so definitely one to grab if you can. So at my number 3 spot is Storm. Storm is a really cool champion. Hits insanely hard when she's duped. I guess what makes Storm so powerful is she's really good, in my opinion, for stuff like Alliance War Attack, Alliance Quest, also questing in general, just because she deals so much damage, can get fights done really, really quickly. She's quite, like, simple in terms of her abilities, but on her special attack, she also has a very, very high % chance to stun, and also it's quite a long stun, especially when coupled with masteries. So generally, when you stun the opponent, you can get off, like, 2 rounds of combos, which is really, really valuable, especially when you're fighting opponents like Spider-Man. She's really good and an option for Spider-Man in, Chloe's Warriors of Awesomeness now. So yeah, she's just a really solid overall champion. Again, very, very simple in terms of what she does, but again, her duped ability increases the damage of her special attacks and lightning-based attacks, which are all of her special attacks, based on how full her opponent's power meter is. So if, you know, you're unleashing a special on somebody that has 2 bars of power, it's just going to hit so ridiculously hard. Really good for, also, what did I did a video where I fought Realm of Legends Winter Soldier with my 5-star rank 2 Storm, and we managed to get him down at about 400 hits, which is really, really good. We saw about the same amount of hits when I was fighting Winter Soldier with my dupe Scarlet Witch. So yeah, really good, really great synergies as well with the X-Men. So overall, I think she's pretty close, I guess, tied with Nightcrawler for that number 3 and 4 spot. I mean, they both have their circumstantial uses, but I guess for me, Storm is number 3. Anyway, let's talk about number 2. So number 2, in my opinion, is actually the upcoming champion, the upcoming basic champion in this weekend's arena. The cutoff for this champion, I believe, is going to be insane. It's going to be a record breaker, and that is Wolverine X23. So this champion is absolutely nuts on damage, like so crazy. So what she does is she basically is like a really a much more aggressive version of the Wolverine character in terms of her damage output, but for that aggression she sacrifices the amazing healing that Wolverine has, as she has a little bit of healing, which makes her really good, a really sustainable champion when going through maps, providing that you can play pretty well, as she's, you know, healing back the majority of that block damage. But yeah, she stacks bleeds like absolutely crazy. So basically, on a critical hit, she has a 75% chance to inflict a bleed, which deals pretty much 100% of her attack over 5 seconds. And obviously, this increases when you rank up the champion. So that is a lot of bleed damage so far. And when you pair her with a crit team, she's just stacking these bleeds like absolutely crazy. And the really good thing about this champion is, even if she's fighting a champion that is bleed immune, she gains instead of bleeding the opponent, she gains stacks to increase crit damage, so she's just going to hit harder and harder and harder. Looks like we disconnected from the game, but it's not a problem. It is not a problem for the moment. So on special attacks, the bleed or cruelty effects that she's triggered last even longer. Really cool. And also her duped ability means that when she has 3 or more bleed stacks on the opponent or cruelty stacks on herself, she gains even more crit rate, even more crit damage. This champion just spirals and spirals out of control and deals a really insane amount of damage. Just a really fun champion for questing, good for Alliance Quest, and just getting stuff done really quickly. So Wolverine X23 is at my number 2 spot. Really good champion, really fun to play, and let's see if we're still connected. I believe we are, hopefully. Awesome. So, oh, no, we did not mean to press that. Let's go back to the champions and talk about the number 1. Who has got the number 1 spot in the listing? And that is going to be, guys, it's going to be the classic Wolverine. Now, Wolverine, in comparison to X23, does a bit less damage, right? He does significantly less damage. However, what makes this champion so powerful is his duped ability, his cellular regeneration, which allows him to get multiple stacks of regeneration on him, which basically regenerates health based on both his power and also his maximum health. So this makes this champion so great as a sustainable champion for doing stuff like Alliance Quest, makes him a really good option for Realm of Legends for every fight apart from, Wolverine. Yep, so every fight you can take down apart from Wolverine with relative ease, providing that you play well. Just a really good option for, like, fully exploring Act 4. He's also, because of his regeneration and the way that it scales based on his maximum health, is an amazing Alliance War boss. So good. So to actually defeat this guy as an Alliance War boss, you need to have either like a Guillotine, a Star-Lord, or a champion that deals a lot of damage, or else you are just not going to be able to damage through his healing. It's just so insane. So I've seen some like 550 Wolverines just get like hundreds and hundreds of kills as an Alliance War boss. Really solid option for that. He doesn't have much health, but that really doesn't matter when it's scaled up to, you know, such a ridiculous amount. So yeah, guys, I think with the amount of uses that Wolverine has in the game at the moment, he has to be number one. He's just such a ridiculous God mode champion. So yeah, guys, that is it. Wolverine number one. I think we should also give, you know, some honorable mentions for circumstantial uses. I think Deadpool X-Force, really good Alliance War defender, especially with his power gain, can really throw a lot of the opponents off on a power gain node, allowing him to get to that level 3, because when he drops below a certain health, he gets like a flood of power, which, you know, if you put him on one of the like strike back power bar, whenever he's hit with a special, he gains 1 bar of power. That can really like screw up a lot of people's fighting patterns. So that's pretty good, really good for Alliance War defender. Also a really fun champion to play, synergizes really well with deep wounds. I'd say he would probably be my number 6 option if I, you know, had that on the list. Old Man Logan, a really solid champion for dealing damage. I would say he's a really good champion, nothing against him, but he just doesn't have exactly what it takes to be a great champion in comparison to Wolverine X-23 and classic Wolverine. He's just a little bit lacking on terms of, you know, what he has. What else do we have? We have Rogue. Rogue is a really good Alliance War defender because she reduces the duration of debuffs, so that's pretty good. But aside from that, she's not really great. There are better options for offensive champions. Gambit's level 2 is quite good, reducing the defensive ability accuracy of the opponent, and has its circumstantial uses. But apart from that, not really much uses for the Gambit in the game. Magneto, when he is duped, can take level 3s and really hard hits. So what he gets is his duped ability caps the amount of damage he can take from a single hit. So that is really good in certain circumstances, but overall has like a really rare use in the game. So he doesn't really quite cut it, but overall he's like a pretty solid champion unduped. He has heal block, he has a really strong bleed, so he's a good option, but I just believe that, you know, there are better options for a lot of other aspects of the game. Then Magneto Marvel now, very similar champion, not much in it. What else do we have? Anything else on the list that we need to cover? I think Colossus as well. I don't believe Colossus is actually like that great of a champion. I guess he's like okay and maybe has a place in Alliance War defense on an armor up node, because that makes him really long to fight, and, you know, maybe fatiguing the opponent might make them make some mistakes. But overall, Colossus level 1 and level 2 are really easy to avoid. It's just a really easy champion to fight. So I don't really think Colossus is that hype in my opinion, but he's not like a bad champion. And definitely if you pull a 4-star one, you should be happy, because he's part of the best crit synergy team in the game, which is the Juggernaut one. So he's definitely worthwhile for that. So ladies and gentlemen, that is it for my thoughts on all of the X-Men and my top 5 list. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you have you know, any opinions and stuff, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Be very interested to hear your thoughts on my list. Apart from that, guys, if you enjoyed the video and would like to see more awesome Marvel Contest of Champions content, feel free to hit that subscribe button. That'd be greatly appreciated. If you like the video, guys, leave a like. Apart from that, guys, take care, and I hope that you have an absolutely fantastic day.